for correct loot, it is time, and we are back, and we are here. Before we do get to the fun, I guess we got a little bit of explaining to do, don't we? A little bit of a presentation, so to say, as one would do when one starts again. We got my title card here, as we all will have at one point. So, as you know, Rigel Micado, my title is the Ironflame Artificier. And you can see my stats on this page, as well as my elemental alignment, which is Fire Elemental, the color red. As you can see, looking at everything, we got this nice little pixel art here that Elly made. And by the stats, you can probably determine my role. I'll be our front line, as well as, I guess, tank role, heavy melee, as one would think. Finesse? Yeah, that's finesse, not fins. I'm not blue aligned. Blue alignment, you will find out later. Maybe. You will see. Hello, Nix. How's it going? Yes, the wall. For you, those of you who have joined in Vernacular Live's Ring of Blood Elden Ring Nights, this is no big surprise to anyone who has been there before. I have a, let's say, a bias towards heavy armor and fire damage, as well as giant weapons. Speaking of which, what good is being a heavy frontliner without a giant weapon? So as I've done for others, I've made myself a weapon. This is the Combustor Blade. This is a fire magic enhanced great sword that uses cartridge technology that I've developed in order to imbue it with extra magical damage, because as you can see from my stats, magic, not very good. So I figured out how to get around that issue. This is a 3D model that was rendered out and painted over by Elly last night for me, with a little help. And another cool thing is, there it is. I can put it on my back. Also, we'll just do the full body view for now, so you can actually see it's chonky. Who needs a shield when you can just block with your sword, right? Oh, and I guess you can see the rest of the armor as well. Now the fun little articulation points. This is where we are. This is the world of Prisma, which we reside in. Prisma is broken up into a few different continents and countries, each of them aligned to a certain element and color. Good thing about your fire enchantment, your weapon can indeed double as a butter knife, and a flat top griddle if I really want to. I could cook an egg on the sword. Talk about multitasking. We are currently in Gramin, and I am from the southern lands of Rubrum. Kind of deserty, kind of hot, kind of dry. Hello, Art, welcome on in. Cook the whole meat attacking. Good idea, saves time. Exactly. Exactly. You can even make toast and cut the bread at the same time. Unfortunately, though, I don't think the sword has the dexterity in order to cut bread properly, so if I did try to, I'd probably crush the bread a little bit. And this is where we currently are. We are in Gramin, the nation of green magic. We are currently heading in, as you saw, towards a dungeon in Gramin. And along the way, why not take a little bit of fun and enjoy the Festival of the Hunt as we go? Cursor is pretty? Yeah, it's kind of nice. And this is where we need to go, so we're traveling. And what better way to get us there than to be pulled along in our little carts, pulled by Daisy the Mossback, our faithful and hardy little friend here. Little, I say relatively. I'm pretty sure Daisy's almost taller than I am. Which isn't hard, but at the same time, still very big. And those of you who saw the starting soon screen got to see Daisy in action pulling the cart. Alright, so, as the typical games that I like and shit, and games that I plan to play, well, it's gonna be no big surprise to anyone that a lot of my beloved games have a bit of a genre cohesion. So, really like the early Zelda series. These are my 4 favorite titles here. I love Crystal Chronicles so much, Buffy. You have no idea how disappointed I was when I saw how bad the remake was. Dark Souls 2, I will not take any take any opinions on this. Crystal Chronicles, Monhan Generations, because man, those Hunter arcs, that's when I really started loving Monhan a lot. Oh, they were so good. And of course, Castle Crashers, because it's hard to find a game that's as reliably as much fun as Castle Crashers a lot. Crystal Chronicles is really good, I would say, Alpine. Little TLDR, it was a great game to play co-op as a child and to play with your friends. It kind of had a weird kind of gimmick if you got it on the GameCube, where if you wanted to play co-op, you had to use your Game Boy Advance as the controller, so you needed one of those Game Boy Advance connectors to the GameCube to use it. But it was kind of great because then everyone could use their Game Boy as a controller, and everyone had their own private inventory screen with all their own stats and health, so you didn't clutter up the interface of the game as you played. Yeah, a lot like LOZ 4 Swords. Guy, because of the co-op, was trying to get against your mean girlfriend to play in Valentine's a while back. You will like it. I will say that you two will have to either designate a chalice carrier or take turns as the chalice carrier. You will find out this later. Yes, Twilight Princess, low-key one of my favorite LOZ titles. Because I love Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask did a great job improving upon some things, as well as doing a twist to the classic Ocarina of Time stuff. And also, you can't beat Wind Waker. Everyone's like, the art style when it came out, but guess what? The amount of freedom and exploration you got on those open seas permanently altered my brain. But yeah, games to expect me to play. Monster Hunter Wilds, as a given. We'll get to that later. The first Berserker Kazan. I tried that demo, as well as saw the previews of it during the last few presentations over the last bit for video games. And yeah, I thought it looked kind of cool, and it played fun. It's kind of like a Souls-like God of War game, almost. And then we got Elden Ring Night Rain. We'll see how much I play that. I do plan on trying it, but I'd probably ask for some help with it, seeing how when it comes to games with matchmaking, I get irked a lot. If I can't control my team I'm playing with, I usually just won't play the game. Yes, Majora's Mask mentioned, Dark Souls 2 mentioned. All very good. Time for a little more coffee. I am so ready for tonight. I have a 1.5-liter jug of cold brew coffee and a bunch of sparkling water, so I am good to go. And speaking of video games, why don't we get started on some video games?